Between filming my preliminary task and my final film, I have learnt several things. I've developed my understanding of how to use both the camera and editing software more effectively in order to get the result I desired for my overall film. Firstly, I've become far more comfortable and familiar with the camera and camera equipment that I use to create both products. When I began filming my preliminary task, I was unaware of the various effects that could be achieved on the camera, such as changing the depth of field and aperture. The use of these effects in my final film helped me to add drama and intrigue, which I was not able to do in my preliminary. Also, I have become far more confident with the 180-degree rule. I was first introduced to the concept of the 180-degree rule during the filming of my preliminary task, and although I understood what it was, I did not fully understand the significance of the rule. Thankfully, by the time I was filming my final film, I was fully aware of the effect breaking the 180-degree rule would have on my audience, so took specific care not to break this rule. In both my preliminary and final film, I made the decision not to use dialogue and rather just a backing track forming the diegetic sound for my respective products. Although I used diegetic sound in both my preliminary task and final film, my knowledge for the correct sound has largely increased. While progressing through the course, I learnt that layering a variation of sounds and music rather than just using one creates a far different and generally better atmosphere in any clip. This is why I made the decision to layer several sounds together in my final film, as using just the one clip would not have created the atmosphere and ultimately lowered the quality of my final film. I also have improved my knowledge on the editing software required to complete both products. The editing software I used was After Effects and Final Cut. During my preliminary task, I was aware of the basic editing skills required to operate Final Cut, but during the progression between filming my preliminary and final film, not only have I honed in on my ability to use Final Cut, but I am also now comfortable and confident in using After Effects. This has meant that I could include more of a range of editing techniques in my final film, such as including titles. I have also learned how to both follow and break continuity editing in order to create different dynamics in my film. During my preliminary task, I did not think that it would be possible to break continuity editing due to the confusion it might have on my audience. But during the editing of my final film, I made the decision to break continuity editing, as I knew it would heighten the intrigue felt towards my final film and create a unique selling point for my film. In conclusion, the progression I have made from my preliminary task to my final film has not only improved my knowledge, but also the quality of the projects I am able to create.